brand new YouTube channel. Some of you might already know me from my blog. I've been blogging at Mum's the Word for 12 years now, and I started off just writing about family stuff, but over the years I've written about just about everything, and I have mainly started this YouTube channel to kind of follow my weight loss journey, to keep me accountable, review various different products. There might be some other content thrown in there as well that isn't necessarily weight loss related. I'm planning on doing some content with my little sister as well, Emily, who is 29, and we're best friends, but we're chalk and cheese as well. Like, our style's completely different, our personalities are very different, but there'll be some content where we sort of collab on like some makeup and some creative ideas and things like that. So that's something that I'm quite excited about. And the main reason I wanted to talk to you today is this ring light is really playing havoc with my glasses. Must remember to wear contact lenses next time. This video is kind of, well, let's explain. Kind of being brought to you in association with Exante, who are a company who sell weight loss products, meal replacements. You can buy them as just like one-off little things, or you could buy like a whole month's worth. There's different plans in terms of how many calories you want to have. So they do one where you have 4 meal replacements a day, and that's literally an 800 calorie meal plan. So it's a very low calorie diet. I'm not sure how long they would kind of recommend staying on a diet which is calorifically so low, but I do know that there's it is like a full meal replacement in the respect that there are vitamins and minerals and protein and things like that in there. They sell various different products. There are shakes, as you'd expect, but there are also bars, there are soups, there are like pancake mixes, waffle mixes, there are even things like chicken fajita mixes, which you're going to see me make a little bit later. So they do sweet and savoury options, because I know with in the past I've done Slim Fast, and the problem with Slim Fast in those days, I don't know what it's like these days, but back then you had an evening meal, but it was like sweet all the time. And don't get me wrong, I've clearly got a sweet tooth, but I didn't want to necessarily be having like a thick chocolate milkshake for breakfast every day. I'm not somebody who generally enjoys breakfast. I tend to just have like a coffee, and then I don't really start eating until sort of lunchtime and later. So having to ladle like a thick milkshake or something like that down my throat first thing in the morning, not my cup of tea. Having said that, this morning I tried the lemon pancake mixture from Exante. Right, so I'm having my first meal from my Exante options. I'm gonna go for the lemon pancake today. I figure that's quite a breakfasty food, gentle way to ease myself into it. So I'm going to mix this up. You just add 100 ml of water and then stick it in a pan and cook both sides. Doesn't say anything about adding any sort of lubricant to the pan, so I'm going to be interested to see if it sticks or not, but hopefully this is going to go well. So in future, what I would do is either make it in a bigger pan, or use half the mixture at a time, because what happens is, where it's very watery on the top, it overcooked a little bit and it caught a little bit on the bottom before I could turn it, because it was still so watery. So yeah, I think either a bigger pan or like a half and half situation would be good. Having said that, in terms of the flavour, I was really pleasantly surprised. I've had things like that before, where they've almost tasted like an omelette and have like an eggy texture, but with like a bit of flavouring thrown on top to try to make you feel like it's a pancake. But this did actually have like a thick sort of pancakey texture. When I first poured it out, I actually said like, oh, I'm surprised, I expected this to be more like an American pancake rather than a crepe. And when it first went into the pan, it looked like it was going to be like an English pancake. Once it was cooked, it did have a slightly sort of fluffier American pancake sort of texture. And as I say, the flavour was really good. When I have lemony stuff, I like it to be super lemony, otherwise it's just pointless to me. And it was really lemony. The flavour was nice, the texture was nice. However, what we didn't realise until after I'd cooked it is that the sugar levels are quite high in a lot of Exante products. So if you're going to do the 800 calorie a day plan, where you would have either four of their products or 3 products and a 200 calorie meal of your choice, depending on which of the products you were to have from the range, you'd be looking at upwards of 40 grams of sugar a day. Now, obviously, the reason that I'm trying to lose weight is because I'm overweight. I need to lose weight. I need to get control of my health. I want to be fitter. I want to go back to playing sport like I did when I was younger. But I am also a type 2 diabetic. I had my eldest daughter almost 14 years ago, and I got gestational diabetes when I was pregnant with her, which I was expecting it, to be honest. It's like, you're not a woman from my family if you don't get gestational diabetes while you're pregnant, except that mine just didn't leave. I think I kind of didn't get in shape, didn't take care of myself enough when I had a newborn, and the type 2 just stuck around, and since then I've struggled with my weight. Now, I've read plenty of miraculous stories of people who are older than me or who've had diabetes for longer or are in or more overweight, in worse shape, who have managed to reverse their type 2. I'm trying not to give myself those hopes. I don't want to do this with like I'm going to reverse my type 2 mindset, because as much as that would be fantastic, I feel like if I have that as my ultimate goal and I don't reverse it, then it's potentially going to be not very good for my mental state. It's going to feel like a disappointment. It's going to feel like, oh, I've put in so much effort and that's not something that I've done. But regardless of whether ultimately I manage to reverse my type 2, lower body mass will just be better for my body in general. It will put less strain on my organs. It will, if I'm going to be diabetic, being a slim diabetic is going to make me live longer. That's just what there is to it. So yeah, the Exante do sell products which they have a low sugar range, and they have products which are also keto. I did keto about 5 years ago and actually had some really, really good results on a low carb diet. I was eating under 20 grams of carbs per day, but I was also doing weightlifting, compound lifts, and then I also, once I'd been doing the weightlifting for about 6 months, I also started going to spin class. I would do yoga once a week. So I was really active at the time, and I was doing keto, and I was quite passionate about it. And then I just I had a bit of like mental ill health. I had a bit of a slip in that respect, and then the weight loss just kind of went off the table. Didn't want to go to the gym anymore, so it's just kind of gradually crept back up since then. I have been for the last few weeks trying to eat sensibly, because I had a bit of an issue with my blood sugar recently. I was already taking 2 separate medications to moderate my blood sugar, but as with most of us, the last 2 years have been spent not moving around as much as I should, staying indoors and eating too much, a little bit too much of the comfortable life. So I had an HbA1c, which obviously takes a look at what your blood sugar levels have been for the last 3 months, and mine was too high. So I've now had to add a 3rd diabetes medication to my daily medications, which it seems to be doing a good job of moderating my sugars, but obviously because I'm eating significantly less amount of sugar each day, and I'm just moderating what I eat and drink generally as well, not just sugar. Obviously my calories have significantly been slashed. So yeah, basically I'm trying to lose weight. The goal is to control my sugars. Exante have agreed to replace the products that are too sugary for me with some of the low sugar and keto products from their range. hopefully I'll be able to come back at a later date and just speak to you about some of the low sugar products from the range. I'm also going to have I'm going to try the chicken fajitas tonight. It's a bit of a weird one. You have 2 separate sachets. One of them is like the bread mixture that you make into a dough and then roll out and then cook it in a dry pan, and then you have the chicken fajita sauce mixture, which you just mix with water and then combine the two. Except it says it's suitable for vegetarians, so I'm assuming that the chicken in it is some sort of other protein, maybe like a tofu or a mycoprotein or something like that. I'll update later once I actually look at the details. But yeah, that's basically where I'm starting from. Oh, okay, so I weighed myself this morning, and my starting weight is 13 stone and 2 pounds, and I'm 5'4". I'm not sure what that makes my BMI, but I know it's pretty damn high at the moment. That's where I'm starting from. So from today, the 22nd of February 2022, which is also the 16th anniversary of the day that me and my husband became a couple, which is nice. So that's where I'm starting from, and I'm just gonna have as many of the Exante products as I can on as many consecutive days, try and keep my calories below sort of below 1,000 at the very most, I should say. And yeah, that's it. That's where I'm starting from. Stay tuned and subscribe to my channel. Turn on post notifications if you want to be alerted when I update. And I will also put links underneath to my existing social media, my blog and stuff like that. I'm Jane. You know probably more about me than I should realistically be sharing on the internet, but it is what it is, and hopefully this will help me to remain accountable. If you have any experience of Exante or anything else that I've mentioned has resonated with you, or if you just want to say hi, or if you have any suggestions, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you, unless that comment is just going to be, oh, you're fat, because, you know, jog on. So I will show you the lemon pancakes and the chicken fajitas, and then hopefully I'll be back tomorrow with some of the other things in the range that are low sugar enough for me to eat. Yeah, so thank you for tuning in. Good evening. So we are at dinner time on day one. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be having the Exante chicken fajitas. Now, I'm a little bit dubious, I'm going to be honest, because this is how you make the chicken fajitas. This one is a mixture for the tortilla, and then this one is the chicken sauce. It's vegetarian, so it's definitely not. In fact, let's have a look and see what wheat flour protein, soy, dehydrated vegetables. Yeah, I'm not sure that they've actually got a specific meat replacement in this, although it might just be, yeah, it says protein blend, vegetable protein, soy and milk protein. So there's soy and whey protein making up the protein part of the chicken mix. And according to this, you have to empty the contents of the tortilla packet into a bowl and add 30 ml of water. It says it doesn't say hot or cold water, it just says water, but with, doesn't smell of anything at all. With the chicken filling, it does actually say to mix it with hot water. So with 30 millilitres, which is about 1/8 of a cup. Not much water at all. And I think it's supposed to come together as like a dough. So let's see what this does. Yeah, it's coming together a little bit pasty, but it's supposed to be able to be made into a ball and then flattened out. So I'm guessing it doesn't need any more water. Mix this a bit with my hands now. it just feels like flour and water really. It doesn't feel particularly different. Again, there's no, like with the pancake that I had this morning, it quite substantial for one pancake and didn't cook very evenly. But I think what I'm going to do is just, there's no way I'm going to be able to roll it out on something because that is still sticky. I've made just regular tortillas before and they generally kind of don't have as much stickiness to them. Roll the dough finely and cook in a non-oiled pan. Right, I'm supposed to leave this to stand for 5 minutes, so let's come back in 5 minutes and see what this looks like. Okay, it's been 5 minutes since I brought the dough together. It does feel it's a bit less sticky now. It's had 5 minutes to sit, but I am still a little bit nervous about rolling this out, especially with a wooden rolling pin, which can be a bit sticky. But I've put it on one of my silicone mats that I use for banking and things like that. So hopefully, yeah, it's not sticking too much. But what I am keen to do is to get this as thin as possible so that it cooks evenly, because I don't want it to be like really doughy. It's rolling out quite nicely and it's not actually sticking to the rolling pin, which I'm quite pleased about. The edges are a little bit ragged. It's not going to look like the one made by somebody who is good at making tortillas, but it is what it is. It's edible, I don't really care what shape it is. It says to do it in a hot pan, so I've got my hob up as high as it goes. And does it say how long to cook it on each side? No, it doesn't. It just says cook in a non-oiled hot pan. So let's see how this goes. Okay. In the meantime, we've got the chicken sauce packet, which it says to mix with 50 ml of hot but not boiling water. So I boiled the kettle before I left the dough to rest. So hopefully that'll be about the right temperature now. I mean, it doesn't, must actually remember to look at my tortilla because I really don't want that to burn. Do you know what? That's looking very tortilla-like. I don't know if you can see this, the chicken mixture is, do you know what? It actually smells not too bad at all, but it's not really like any fajitas I've ever had before. There's no discernible veggies or anything in it. There's a little bit of what looks like maybe chili flakes in there. And as I said, it's a completely vegetarian mixture, so there's no chicken in there, but there's protein. So yeah, this tortilla still feels, it's nice and sort of bready on the outside. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups. But it still feels a little bit doughy on the inside. So I'm trying to kind of cook it for as long as I can without letting it catch and without letting it go solid. Obviously we need to be able to roll this. So this is where we're at with the tortilla. Do you know what? I don't think that's too bad at all. So it's supposed to just make sure this is really well mixed, because it's not going to be pleasant if it's watery in some bits and bitty in others. I'm getting a spatula out to make sure I get every last bit of that, because if I'm only having 200 calories in my meal, I want to make sure I get all of those calories. Now ideally, if I was eating actual chicken fajitas, I would now go in and add sour cream and some guacamole and all of those lovely caloric things that add lots of flavour. But I can't do that. Let's give this a taste. really not too bad. Apologies for the sound of me chewing. It's a bit light. It tastes more like a burrito than a fajita, because the inside is a bit more like a vegan burrito, that kind of thing. It's, on the one hand, I'm looking at it and thinking, I'm still going to be hungry when this is finished, but I suppose that's kind of the problem. I eat until I'm too full anyway, so I need to sort of retrain myself to appreciate what is hungry and what is actually just boredom or want to eat or thirsty, all of those kind of tricks that our mind plays on us to make us overeat. I think given the fact that it's, as I said, a savoury option, and with things like this you can get really overloaded with sweeteners and things like that, I actually think this is really decent, and it was really easy to make. I thought it was going to be not more difficult, but you know, things like this have a habit of having a bit of a learning curve, dry frying things, and you don't know sort of how long it's going to need, and the instructions aren't massively clear in that respect either. It just says cook in a hot pan, so could be 3 seconds, could be 3 minutes, but other than that it really is perfectly palatable. And given the fact that it is only 222 calories per serving with 17 grams of protein and only 1.5 grams of sugar, I actually think, nutritionally speaking, that's quite decent if you're trying to maintain a very low calorie diet but also not have your sugar levels too high. Yeah, so I actually think this was far more of a success than I thought it was going to be.